We are good to go. All right, we're going to do this quick because there's still some hunting to be done. So
the whole season, except for David.
All right, guys. So welcome back to the Raised Hunting Podcast. And today's kind of a unique podcast because, number one, my two special guests are here. That's not the unique part. The unique part is the fact that we're going to go over opening day of turkey season here in Iowa, April 10th.
It's really only opening morning. We haven't even gotten to past noon yet.
It's not even past noon yet.
That's
yeah,
okay.
well, it's not even noon.
Show your hand
We're doing
again.
a podcast.
My hands are still covered.
He's got feathers on his
Yeah.
phalanges.
So what we're doing is we went turkey hunting this morning, or some of us did.
You act like we just opted out.
Well, it was raining on me too.
No, it was not raining on you.
Yes, it was.
Just
You can
raining,
hear it in the
just
video.
sprinkling a little bit.
Okay, well, it was raining.
Dropping freaking buckets at us.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pouring.
So while these guys were sleeping with buckets, Eli and I were sitting in a ground blind. And so anyhow, you couldn't have painted a better picture or painted a better story than what we had happen this morning. So anyhow, that's what we're going to do is talk a little bit about it and why it came to fruition, which I think is kind of cool that you said yesterday you did exactly what I did. And that was we went off of some information that's from scouting and said, I'm going to go ahead and set a blind up.
No, we did not.
He did.
You did.
He did too.
No, he did not. He didn't do any scouting. He just went and put a blind where they tend to be every year.
Oh.
He didn't have any idea.
It's previous scouting.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's having some intel.
It's just called hunting
and
the
we
land.
saw turkeys there during shed season.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was scouting.
You scouted. He just went and put a blind up where he thinks they're
All right.
still at.
So
there.
well, let's go back.
You're probably right.
So basically, turkey season, as I've tell people all the time in my seminars, starts for me weeks, months in advance as far as watching them. I mean, if you know where they are, you have a very good chance of getting into where those birds are, especially when they're vocal. But there's a few things that we should talk about this morning, and we've had crazy weather. I mean, crazy weather. Minus degree weather in late March, April, really cold, really windy. And then we'll have an 80-degree day. And then and so it seems like the birds have been late, or at least in around where I just wasn't seeing the number of turkeys strutting that I think you've only seen one or two, haven't you?
Yeah, I've seen quite a few, or I have quite a few videos on camera of them walking by. I don't have any strutting.
But most
I've
of
only
that's
seen one strutting so
Oh,
far.
yeah. What about you?
I haven't seen very many strutting.
Every bird I've got on camera they've been together or doing something, but none of them, not a single strutter.
Do you think that, with deer, it could be really hot, but that doesn't necessarily affect the timing of the breeding cycle? Do you think that's the same with turkeys, or do you think you can actually move it a little bit? I'm sure there's probably some science on it.
I'm sure there probably is. The only thing that I will say is you typically, even when it gets really hot, the deer, they just go nocturnal and move at night when it's cooler. But turkeys seem to, if you get the wrong weather, they'll quit doing anything. They won't pay attention to the hens or anything. They go to feeding, and that's really bad
down.
weather.
Their breeding cycle can't change based
really
on
think
weather.
it could.
Because of
I feel like
the timing of when they're breeding is based on the best chances of their poults
Right.
living.
Yeah, but
So
when
if
did your poults start hatching?
May. And
Late
May.
May, or early
Yeah,
June.
so I
May
feel like
into
turkeys
June.
could possibly, they could maybe afford a week or two, or something like that, because it's summer.
They might, but from what I learned with the deer's breeding cycle of not going off of it's going off of sunlight, of when they're going in and out of heat based on the amount of daylight there is in a day, I would imagine that the majority of animals have got to be something similar to that, because if you think about just weather, if they're going off just weather, especially in a place like Iowa, or, it seems like the entire United States has been going through it, but where it's random weather, how are they ever going to be on a normal breeding cycle?
Right.
So it's got to be something that's more consistent no matter what.
Well, here's, I guess, where I would clarify is maybe it doesn't change. Just when I say they're late, we just haven't seen as much strutting going on. Like normally I'll see them in February, and all through March I'll see a strutter here, strutter there. And I think it's just been every time there's been bad weather, they're not doing that. Maybe even though we're right back to where they need to be during that just like all of a sudden they're strutting a day after it was 20 degrees.
Maybe we're just not seeing them strutting, because
That
I've been
could be
hearing
the-
them gobble and stuff too. I mean, I've heard quite a few just simply walking in to check a trail camera in the middle of the day.
Right.
And you've been,
I've
when I
been
was staying at
hearing
your
them.
house, I was hearing them every morning.
Yep. And yesterday evening, though, was the best evening gobbling I've heard in a long time. I mean, when I got over there and I went and parked on top of a hill where I could glass and see a long ways, and I got there about 6:45 or so, and immediately saw two toms going away from where I can hunt, and way far away. They're probably 600 yards closest to the chunk of ground that I was going to hunt, and they were going the wrong way. And then I finally saw another one all by himself. He was probably 300 or 400 yards from where I could hunt at, and I was like, all right, that's a good sign. But no, they weren't strutting. Then I saw the two far ones start strutting, and the sun was out. It was kind of nice. It was only a little bit windy. And so anyhow, I was watching three toms, and but I'm covering, easily 1.5 miles, 2 miles, looking all across that valley, and then sure enough, I look over a little farther, and there's two more toms come up the hill, and it didn't look like that any of the two had hens with them that were far to my right, but the three that I was now looking at straight across from me didn't have any hens. But I also knew that I couldn't get the closest I could get to them. I can hunt one side of a piece of property and another side of the piece of property there in the middle where I can't hunt. And one was 490 yards, the other one was 400 yards according to onX, when I did a line distance from the trees where I thought that they were going to end up. And again, this goes back to what you were talking about. I do think that intel from years past is still a type of scouting. And I knew once I saw where they were, I was like, they're going to roost right there. They're going to roost in those trees right there.
Yep.
So I watched them for probably 45 minutes to an hour, and they just stayed right in that same general vicinity. And so I finally made the determination that I wasn't going to be able to go where I thought. And I'm glad I didn't, because I don't think, and a couple factors factored into why I didn't go there. If I'd hunted the one piece of property and tried to call them to me, I got to get them through a sheep fence.
That's fun.
And I was like, I don't want to take that risk, and it was 90 yards farther than what it would have been from where I ended up going.
Right.
So anyhow, long story short, as I drove around, went all the way around last night, came up on the other farm so that I would see if I could kind of pinpoint where, if I could hear them. I knew I wouldn't be able to see them from there. And sure enough, they gobbled again. And so I knew right where they were. I'd said, all right, double bull blinds going right here and facing this way. I'll throw 3 decoys out and then just pray that it doesn't pour down rain, because they were talking about this rain.
I didn't know it was supposed to rain.
I
told you that yesterday at church.
But I looked at the forecast and it looked fine.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't hear you say anything. You must have told
60% chance, starting sometime last night and then on into the morning.
That's good. My boots just dried out too, and I left them outside.
Oh, good job.
I was letting them dry yesterday because I got wet before.
Well, you guys missed an outstanding morning. That's all I can tell you. But when it's pouring down rain, and that's not, very easily at the farm you guys were going to hunt.
We're a little ways away from where you were at.
Well, and I was looking at the radar, and it was
just
steady
coming.
Worse. Yeah. For at least for a few hours, it looked like. So it was raining hard enough at that point. I was like, if it's going to be this way the whole time, this isn't going to be worth. Like, it was enough that I was going to be concerned about camera equipment and everything else, just getting there. Right. And then where we're going to, unless we want to walk a long ways, we can't even cross we can't even get to where we need to because it'll be too muddy. Were they gobbling a lot on the roost this morning?
No. There was some gobbling. Like, we heard one that was probably half a mile, 3/4 of a mile behind us. He was a long ways away, and we could hear him. But that was before the rain really started. And, because once the rain started coming and it was hitting the blind, it got really tough to hear.
Yeah.
But we could hear a bird way off. And that's when I got kind of concerned. I'm like, oh, geez, how come we're not hearing these birds that it should be in front of me there? Even though they would be 400 yards away, I still felt like we should be able to hear them. And it was probably, I don't know, that bird behind us probably gobbled 15, 20 times before finally the ones in that I was looking for gobbled. This is
on the roost still?
This is on the roost. Okay. Yep. This is probably, I think daylight this morning was like 6:15 and sunrise is like 6:45.
Yep.
And so I think probably around the 6:30 mark, something like that. These finally gobbled, and just so that people understand, until mine gobbled, I didn't make a call. There was just no point. I just sat there listening, waiting. We got other birds gobbling, so I was hoping the rain.
How'd you know you were in the right spot?
From yesterday.
Just knowing that they're there, or
Just
trusting that they're there?
trusting that I'm not positive, but I'm as close to positive as I can be that they are there.
Well, where else would they have gone? I mean,
Well, they could have gone the other direction, or maybe I was afraid that if they were on the backside of the trees, they couldn't hear us, and so I was waiting for that too. And then when they finally gobbled, I was like, all right, let's see if they can hear me. And so I answered them, and Manny hammered back right away. I was like, okay, so we got something going here. And then it was probably pretty, like I wasn't just hammering them. I wanted them to think that, hey, there's a hen over here. So they gobbled a few times on their own. And then it was probably 30 minutes before I did like a fly down cackle, like, okay, we're pitching out of the trees now. And that fired them up. They gobbled several times. And then we started to hear another bird gobble farther west of us. And so that's when I really started, I would say, working the bird. I felt like they're on the ground now for sure. And it was probably only 15 minutes before Eli said, I see them on top of that hill, which was 200 yards away, something like that. And he could see them. And then he said, they're running. And I was like, as long as they're running toward us, then it's all good. And he said, yeah, they're running down the hill. And I'm like, perfect. And so, and the great thing was the location where we were sitting right on one of my food plots, and they came through that fence, no issue there, because it's not a sheep fence, just just a regular four-strand barbed wire fence. And so, bloop, right underneath it, popped out, walked right into the decoys, and the rest is history. And so I shoot the one, and I'm thinking, man, I felt like it was a good shot, but I have on those surround view double bull blinds, I hang the black curtain in the back, so it's all blacked out behind us. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't get the wall moved out of the way fast enough to see where the bird went. And so anyhow, I couldn't see him. At the same time, Eli says, hey, you have a second tag. You can shoot this. The other one was still there. Right. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And so I started to reach for an arrow. Well, then he walked off. And I was like, that's okay. I didn't want to be greedy anyhow. Well, in the next minute or two, another bird gobbles.
He's just trying to make it sound like he's a good person as opposed to just not thinking of it first.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think of it
you
first.
You should know dang well you got 2 tags in your pocket. You launch an arrow, you grab another.
Oh, well,
right away.
I wasn't thinking that. I was hoping.
I did that on one tag.
So
meaning
the same bird.
The same bird, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. Because he can't hit the one bird, so he just got to launch his whole quiver at the one.
So anyhow, we are pretty sure we got a turkey down, but we can't see him. Eli actually thought he heard him like flapping, and I was like, okay. But this other one starts gobbling, and then just in a few seconds, this is probably maybe 4 or 5 minutes after I had shot, and another strutter shows up on the hill, and he gobbles, and he's coming down the hill, and he's got to go out of sight and then come back up the hill to where we can see him. And he goes out of sight, and then we don't see him anymore. Well, then another bird to the right starts gobbling. And so we're thinking there's 2, maybe they'll chase one or the other over here. Well, all of a sudden 2 hens show up, and then here's another strutter, which I still don't know whether it was the same one and he circled around, or I don't know. But there's another bird there, so I was calling quite a bit, quite aggressively, because those hens were there. I was trying to get the hens to come toward us. And while we're doing that, all of a sudden I hear this, what I refer to as and I can't make the sound with my voice, but it's the sound of a jake, and it's called a calque, and it's like a yelp, but it's a ow, and it
sounds stupid.
Yeah, and when they do it, it's almost like a deep yelp that doesn't finish. And I heard that, and I was like, Eli, that sounded like it was in the field with us. And I turn and look, and again, I've been a skeptic on the surround view. I mean, I just feel like you can see through it, or see. I feel like
that's
you can.
That's the goal.
I know, but I feel like that I'm naked. I can be seen, but you can't. When you go back and look at our Tacticam footage, it's a black hole. From that. And so anyhow, but I look through there and I'm like, holy cow, there's the jake right there. I didn't even get excited because I was positive it was a jake.
Who cares? Shoot.
So I grabbed.
Thinking if those turkeys knew he was naked, they'd be out. So, yeah, that blind definitely works.
Yeah. So I grabbed my binoculars and looked through the blind because I don't have a window open over there. And I was like, oh, Eli, never mind. This sucker's got a big old beard on him. And he's standing there. He's not strutting or anything, just standing there looking. And he starts walking toward us. And I said, okay, he's at the edge of the food plot. Looks like he might come. He's probably 40 yards because Eli's to my right. So he can't see any of this. And then just like stops and turns like he's going to leave. And I was like, uh-oh, this one ain't playing the game, dude. I don't think we're going to get a shot. So real quick, I hit the remote control and spin my decoy, turn him around. When the moment that I did that, he turned back around and he was like, whoa, wait a minute. He's strutting around that hen over there. And as soon as I did that, he was like, all right, maybe I will walk over there. And here he comes. But, like, he didn't have that, like the two that had come in before. When you watch the video, they come in. Mm-hmm. You know, they're committed. You can look at everything about them as they're coming. He didn't have that look. As he got closer, he got more of that look. And then he got to within, 7 or 8 yards when he finally strutted for the first time. And he strutted up to the decoy, but I felt like he was still nervous. So instead of, I've been known to milk the footage sometimes, but this one, he came out of his strut. I think he caught me drawing. And so he wasn't sure what had just happened, and he turned away. When he turned away, I thought, uh-oh, he might walk away, so I'm shooting this sucker. And so I shot that one, and I don't know if I killed him or when he ran into the tree, that's what killed him.
I'm pretty sure you killed him.
I've never seen a turkey do that.
I've only seen deer do that, but he flat ran right smack dab into a tree and
tipped over,
bonked his head. So it was a extremely good morning. Now we sat there for another 20 minutes maybe because we could hear other birds gobbling. And I was like, well, I don't want to mess them. I don't want to get out of the blind and mess everyone, run them off. So we sat there for a little bit to make sure no one else was just coming. And then also Eli could have filmed them. But more importantly, when if you're out there hunting and you kill one, especially if you're with your kid or with a buddy and someone else wants to come back, pick and choose when you're going to end the whole thing. The biggest thing for us is to get out and get the decoys down and get I don't like for them to see people walking around turkeys. That's a bad deal.
Do you think our birds are like some other states? Like I know we go to, say, Nebraska or something like that. Earlier, you have big groups, and the later you get, the more that those groups are going to break up, and you may not find the big wads, but it's probably easier to find turkeys because they're more spread out. I don't know that I've really seen that much here of them doing that.
Getting into big groups?
No, like breaking up. Seems
to
me like our birds pretty much.
We're not.
I always find 2, 3 toms.
Yeah, 2s and 3s
together.
now. I would say
Jakes I see a lot together, but the rest I don't ever see big groups.
I'm just like trying to think of an area though where they're not there, and then the later we get in the season, there starts getting birds in there and stuff.
I think that there's definitely some areas that you're seeing. I'm seeing birds. My whole thing was normally by this time of year, I have 3 or 4 locations at a minimum where I can go, okay, they've been here 2 or 3 days in a row. They've been here 2 or 3 days in a row. It might not be every single day, but I can count on them being close by there. And this year it's just been, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3 over here. These went over here. Now, I go back to, I did see 13 toms together back in the winter. That was January probably. So I knew there was a good population. That was in one of the places where we can hunt. Not on our farm, but they were close by. So that was a good sign. And then I saw 17 jakes together. And it's a good sign. It's a bad sign for now. I mean, it's great to know that you got a whole crop of newcomers coming.
I think that's more jakes than we've ever seen in Iowa.
I've never seen a group that large.
I don't think I've ever seen more than like 10 here.
Yeah, we had 14.
Really? Where?
At your house. We had 14 like 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
They were running around.
17 of them was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bunch. That's good, though.
It is good, and I think that
it sucks, though, too.
Well, I think
beat the crap out of everything.
That is the truth. And so, because what I forgot to mention was that second tom that came in, or the third tom, I guess, the second single, there was 2 jakes with him. I think they gave him away. I think they're the ones that calked like that. If they hadn't done that, I wouldn't have known he was coming, and all of a sudden he'd have been right there at the decoy because he came from.
They knew.
I guess they were helping
get him
out.
Killed, and we'll get some more hens. Don't have
I
got to
go drop a 20 for those guys. So.
Yeah. I'm sure they're going to do a lot with that.
Go get some turkey nip for them.
Well,
here we go, guys. We reward you for letting us kill your nemesis.
Some worms.
But here's one of those things, though, that I told Mom last night, because when I went and checked, there's a camera right there. Matter of fact, I didn't even think about it. We might actually have some of the footage on our one of the trail cams that we have right there. And so anyhow, I checked it last night after I set the blind and everything, because I thought I probably walked in front of it a bunch of times, so I brought it home. Not a single picture of a turkey. And I told Mom last night, I was like, boy, I better be a better turkey hunter than I think I am, because I'm going against your trail camera is usually when you go, oh, yeah, they're here, I should be here. And I was sure that they were close enough that I could bring them there. Yeah. That was the goal. And so it worked. Now the other one was the rain. Would you go in the rain? You guys, what you're talking about rain-wise, I probably would have done the same. I would. I
had 3 days in Alabama of absolute downpouring. I'm good. I've had it for the year. Right. I don't need to sit in more downpouring weather.
But I would hunt rain over hard wind.
That's true.
That's what I don't like.
That's what I was saying is if we can, I was hoping that it was going to, be like an hour or something. Because I think after it quits, it'd be really good,
Especially if the sun comes out.
Yeah, this afternoon could be good.
What do you think that when the sun comes out after the rain? There's one, they just like to strut in the sun, and two, they're drying out.
I think they could be drying out.
They gotta get when they get really wet, they gotta get heavy. I don't know. All the feathers, you'd think that they get waterlogged.
Well, they can shake it comes off.
Yeah, but you'd still think that a lot of it gets waterlogged in there. Like the dogs. Yeah, they get wet and they shake and they still got tons of water on them.
I've never seen a turkey struggling to walk because he had too much water on him.
That'd be funny.
That would be funny. That'd be easy to go out there and get them. They're stuck, in the field. I wonder why they always go to fields when they're wet.
Like I said,
dry out better. You
that one I've heard multiple different. One is bugs. The bugs get uncovered, and so it's easy for them to go out there. Another one is they don't like getting dripped on from everything in the timber. I don't know whether either one of those are right, but it is a fact.
That second one doesn't make any sense.
I don't.
Well, I feel like it's still raining.
Get dripped on, so I'm gonna go get drenched.
I don't know.
Wait, you're talking about in the rain?
Like if you're
when it's raining, when it's physically raining, like this morning, these birds were out in the fields.
Oh, I thought you were saying that when it's done, they're out in the fields.
No, it seems like every time it's raining, they always are out in fields. Always. That's what I'm saying is dripped on or drenched doesn't really.
The dripped on one doesn't make any sense.
No. Not at all.
the bugs does.
But I feel like that would be the same in the timber, you know?
But if it's sunny, like a nice sunny, like today, this afternoon is supposed to be like 70, they will be in like oak flats or an oak ridge scratching. You won't see them out in the fields, not until in the evening. And then in the evening they start strutting around, and if it's as warm as they're talking about, they will be on the west side of the field, in the shade. I'm telling you, you set up.
He's got all the theories like you do with sheds.
Yeah,
south facing slopes and this and that, which is pretty legit. And then now that I'm thinking about it, that bird that we killed for Joey last year, every day was on the west side of that field when it was super sunny out, in the shade. Stupid. They should go in the sun. They're a lot prettier in the sun.
I'm trying to think now of turkeys I killed in the evening and where they were in the field.
I can't remember all the turkeys I killed.
Well, you killed one last year in the evening, but there was no sun. It was raining.
Yeah, it was kind of cloudy.
Remember it thundered.
Well, mine was in the middle of the day, wasn't it?
Last year?
Mm-hmm. The one
yours was like 11 o'clock, something like that.
Now I almost want to just send somebody to drive around this evening and just looking west sides of fields.
I'm telling you, you're going to see more of them on the west side in the shaded area.
I never even thought of that.
They will.
That's funny.
Yeah. Now, like if it's, I don't think that's the case when it's 35, 40 degrees. I think that they're not, so their feathers aren't as hot in the sun, so they're okay with it. They'll be out in the sun. But, and it's not like they won't walk in the sun, but they will definitely stay on that shaded side.
Like the kid from the benchwarmers that's scared of the sun.
Yeah.
A little ghost.
I don't know where that stuff comes from. Hey, Nick, can you, see my beard?
That's it.
I think it is a unit of a beard. Huh?
It is. I've only got one of the bird's skin so far, but this is the small one. Like as in, I think one is a 2-year-old and the other one's a 3-year-old.
That's like a 10-inch beard.
Yeah, but it's just so thick.
You know what you should do, Nick?
It might be a lot.
You should run right there to the bow bench and grab a tape measure
Yeah.
real quick.
The you know what, I think we need to try to come up with some way to confirm if that bird, the second one that you shot,
Was the same one?
was in fact the same one that came in with the other one. Because I'll be really impressed.
I hope it is.
So that's not something we've seen yet. I
No.
don't feel like that.
What? That they've come back?
Yeah, especially
minutes.
within. Yeah,
I
guess
hope
how
it is,
long-
though,
how
'cause
long
that
was
means
it
it's
since
less-
when you shot.
I think we told him probably 20 minutes from between. I shoot the one, he goes behind us, then I start calling to the other bird, and then all of a sudden this one showed up. It probably wasn't more than 20 minutes.
If it is the same one, that means it's less birds that came to the setups. That's good.
Yeah, well, right now the way that it would look is
Well, you don't need the cloth tape, just a
There's-
regular tape measure.
There's
I just used
a
it.
regular one in my office.
I
Um,
just set it there.
there's
Silly Nick.
the
Unless you moved it.
if you were talking about and because what Easton's referring to there for people that are listening is we don't like when 3 birds come in, we shoot one, now you got 2 birds that have seen a setup. That's how they get educated.
Well,
And that's
what-
you
that's
got to eliminate the witnesses.
That sounds horrible.
That's the goal.
It's accurate though.
It's very accurate.
That's the problem with Easterns though, where I don't think with Miriam's, I know that we've had birds where the whole wad will come in and we'll shoot one like that, and then we change the setup a little bit. You might have to move your location, but then you change that setup a little bit, and here they come again. Where with Easterns, we don't ever seem to get to do that at all. That's why we need to try to figure out and confirm if that was the same one, because I don't know that we've ever had one do that. Oh boy, we're getting the measurement for everybody that's listening on Dad's first beard.
10.5.
Yeah, your longest strands, right at 10.5.
Yep.
Man,
10.5
bigger
inch
than
beard.
But it for those of you that can't see it, it is thick.
Yeah, it's a really thick
Yeah,
beard.
you got 10.5 even.
Thick.
Yep.
Yeah, for having only 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch spurs. When I get the other one, I'm gonna say I don't think it's any longer. It's probably only gonna be,
Yeah, it's 10.5.
but it's wide.
Yeah,
We
that
should start-
sucker is, that's paintbrush.
We should start
That'll do it.
coming up with some way to do a width measurement, and then factoring that in there. Because like bushy beard would have been like
Yeah,
6.
it's like 4 fingers.
you know.
Yeah,
You probably could. I mean, if you just hold it, kind of make it tight, then it'll just go around.
Yeah, you
a
probably. Could.
circumference measurement
Yeah.
on turkey beards.
I like that idea.
You got your length
We
plus
obviously have
circumference.
too much time
No,
on
I
our
like-
hands. If
I
we
like
start.
that idea because you got some of those long, strangly beards that are 12 inches and then just like 4 strands.
Oh,
What are you doing? Pulling my beard apart?
no, you got blood all over me.
I didn't do anything. You grabbed it and started messing with it.
I think I'm gonna start doing that, factoring
All
in
right.
circumference.
So are you guys going to go this? And then I already had 2 different people that texted me this morning that kill birds. One of them killed one with his bow with no blind.
Really?
Garrett?
Yep.
Yeah, I saw that.
He just texted me. He says left work at 6:02.
It was
And
done by
It
7:45.
was done by 7:45. Killed 7 yards.
Is he
No-
working nights or something?
Yeah. No
With-
no blind.
with his
Dang.
bow.
With
Yeah.
his bow at 7 yards, no blind.
With a decoy?
I would assume so.
That's freaking tough. Yep. Yep.
Why is he waiting until 4th season? Didn't want to buy another archery tag?
Yeah, he probably buys a combo tag.
That's a thing?
Yeah, well, your gun tag also can be used as a bow tag.
Oh, in 4th season? Or like
If
any season?
If you have a combination tag, it has to be. Then you have to use it in one of your birds has to be in 4th season.
Oh, so I just buy them separate. Is it like I just
If
buy?
you buy
buy-
2 archery tags,
you buy
can
2
use them
archery
anytime.
tags. Mine says bow only.
Yeah,
Bow. Okay, if you buy that, then you can kill them whenever.
yeah.
But that's the
throughout
only way that you
season.
can. But like you can't buy a bow tag and shoot one in 1st season and then buy a 1st season shotgun tag. They won't. You can't do that. One of your birds has to be killed.
Oh,
Is that what we were trying to figure out with Joey?
That's the issue. Yeah,
Wait,
see,
so
I
say
thought
that
you
one
could.
more
I
time?
thought you could you could buy your archery tag, kill it 1st season, and have a shotgun tag as well for 1st season.
No, if you buy the shotgun tag,
That's-
then you have to kill it in 4th season.
But you could go and buy a
That's
shotgun tag for
stupid.
2nd season and have an archery
No.
tag.
No,
No.
You can't?
No, if you
Interesting.
buy an archery tag, you can kill it whenever, but then you got to pick the season. I'm sorry. Then once you split it like that, then your other bird is going to have to be during fourth season,
no matter what.
no matter what.
So that's why Joey
Except
couldn't. Well,
for
he's
the fact that
committed now.
you killed two. You bought two.
I bought two archery tags,
so you can
so
kill them whenever
Whenever
together.
together.
Oh,
Joey's
well, that
committed now.
Yeah, no, he hasn't.
Yeah, he already bought his archery tag.
Yeah, he's either gonna kill another one with a bow, or he's got to wait till fourth season. Well, he can't wait till
But
fourth season.
that's what
No,
I'm saying.
he's screwed. Yeah, so he's got to do two.
He's committed with a bow.
Crap! Dang it, that is not conducive. Okay, all right. I was trying to get him to have a bow tag and a shotgun tag, so we had a backup because he's never killed one with a bow.
Yeah, that plan went out the window.
Oh, that means that I can't even carry a shotgun for him either. Then.
Nope.
Oh,
Well,
that means I have to wait till.
No, you could
fourth-
buy a shotgun tag. You just can't buy an
No,
archery tag.
I already have my archery tag.
Oh, yeah, no, you can't then.
Gosh, I was so excited to use that gun.
Otherwise, he could, though, right?
No,
I think so.
Yeah.
Dang it. Okay, well that is janky. Why do they got to make it confusing?
See, that's why I was careful and I made sure I bought an archery tag but didn't buy the other one.
Doesn't
Because
matter.
I might need a shotgun. Yeah, I know, but I knew I would have to wait till fourth season if I was going to get a shotgun tag.
I just buy archery
How did you know
tags
that
and-
when you were so confused about what he just explained?
I don't know. That's a good question. But I knew that for some reason.
I don't know what to tell you.
Golly, that sucks.
I think because I've shot enough with a shotgun now.
I'm
before
going.
season.
Let's start a petition for Iowa laws to change.
To what?
No, that now I know why they're
To
doing
make
that.
it
Because
so-
the whole point in seasons is to split people up.
Yeah,
So,
so
that
that
not everybody out in the field at the same point at the same time. So if you do that, that would diminish the point of that.
Somewhat, but like at the same time, you're probably not going to kill as many birds because if I'm buying an archery
That's probably
tag,
also part of the point.
I think it'd be okay if you didn't kill as many birds.
No, there's.
Smack your head again and see what happens. We kill plenty of birds. It's not like we're.
You just said you'd probably kill more birds.
No, I said we wouldn't kill as many birds.
I think you'd kill more.
I don't think you would. I
How?
think
'Cause you
because
could
I
have
think
a-
you'd run out of a tag. I think you'd have like your first season is 3 days, and so if you bought your archery tag and your shotgun tag for your first season, unless you double up on it, you got a good chance that you're not going to end up killing 2 birds, and then you're out for the rest of the season. You don't have any tags. That's my point.
Yeah, or you could do like what you're doing though, and someone's playing cleanup, and you have.
I
a
wasn't
shotgun
doing
tag
that.
and-
I wasn't playing cleanup, but somebody could do that. What I was doing is going to have it so Joey had both his tags. And so that if the bird didn't come in correctly or he couldn't get a shot with his bow, pick up the freaking shotgun and
Right.
dome it right there.
Yeah, but that's the problem with that is then somebody could use their archery tag the rest of the season.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I still
think,
want to make a petition for fun.
Um,
That's what all the popular kids do
I'm
nowadays in
hoping-
the world.
I'm hoping this afternoon that we're able to get to our spot without bumping anything, and I think I'll feel really good about where we're at. The thing I hate about evening turkeys here is I feel like it's a patience game.
it is patient.
Every
like
time,
playing that.
it's the morning too.
No, but at least they're always fired up and gobbling. And
Absolutely not.
yes, huh?
No. Last year sucked. It was absolutely terrible.
They were
That
going
bird didn't do anything.
What do you think about that,
Not the
Nick?
ones
He
that-
says last year sucked.
No, last year was good, but at the same, I'm saying like the bird that you killed for Joey.
Yep.
Or
Yeah.
Joey killed it, but just sat there. He didn't make a peep hardly. He gobbled a couple times.
I think part of it was the wind. We couldn't hear him.
He wasn't doing it the day before either. He was just a boring freaking turkey. He had all his hens and nothing else to
Well,
do.
it's
So
one
you
with
just
a
sit
whole
there
bunch
and
of
you
hens.
wait and you wait and you wait. Morning
then-
or evening didn't
Yeah,
matter.
but look at what paid off when he came walking down that draw, strutting with all those hens for 15 minutes. We probably have footage of him coming in.
yeah, it was probably worth it for the 15 minutes. But
Yeah.
it was not fun the first 3 hours.
When Eli and I were, and Alyssa went out the first day, they were going nuts. Nuts.
I would not say this morning they were going nuts. We heard probably 4 or 5 different toms, but some of them were
Way away.
like you could just hear them faintly somewhere else.
Yeah, that's what I like about the mornings, though. Is like you're going to hear them.
Should.
They're going to be there, and you should. If you're not hearing them,
You missed them.
you're in not the right spot.
Right.
Where in the afternoon, you can't.
See,
do that.
be
You gotta be
careful
just
with
patient.
listening to him on that because that's not necessarily true. Because David set up where he did not hear those birds for like 30 minutes. A lot of people
But
would,
they were there.
no, but he did. You don't know that. A lot of people would go in and go to listen for a bird, and they don't hear them when all the other ones are gobbling, and they're going to the
They
next
go
spot
somewhere else.
before they set up.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Is if I'm not saying that, I'm saying if he sat there all morning and he didn't hear a gobble there, I'll bet you those
Then they're
birds
probably
were
not there. Yeah, I
That's
get
what I'm
that.
saying.
Yeah, but just be careful to not like if you know the birds are there, trust it. even if they're not talking right away.
I
Yeah,
think
is that-
that depends on terrain too. I mean, if you can hear a long ways, then that's more. I would say that you're probably right. But if you're in a timbered area where you can't hear nearly as far and you're not hearing birds, they may not be that far away and you just can't hear them.
Right.
So I think there's different things that I can't stand background noise. I don't like the highway. We hunt some places that we've been close to roads and trucks drive by and stuff, and I can't hear very well. I don't like cows. Like normal cows out in the field don't do anything, but if they just had their calves taken from them or something like that, they can be going nuts. All that stuff is annoying as all get out. I like for it to be picture perfect, quiet. Wind is the worst.
Yes.
Agreed.
But this morning the rain got hard enough that we were having trouble hearing. It was a good thing.
That's sometimes when you're in a blind, it makes it harder. You get covered from the wind or from the weather, but you hear a lot more of it as opposed to sitting outside.
Yeah,
it's loud.
It rained hard enough that we probably would have had to call it
Outside.
if we were outside.
Yeah.
Because we would have been afraid of camera equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we can do the same this afternoon.
Me
I don't
too.
even have 2 tags, so I can't double, but Alyssa could shoot the next one if we can.
Now I know I'm carrying my bow.
If there's more than one bird come in and I make the shot that I need to, then we should absolutely be able to double.
So
it should not
basically,
go anywhere.
there's no chance of making a double.
No, I think headshots, I'm going to be good. I think that now I have got one.
I hope so.
Whopper chopper in.
I don't agree with it, but I hope so.
What do you not agree with?
I just don't like the one that I just told you about. That video is disgusting. It's not not respectful. It
is respectful. However,
if you're trying to doing it just to hit their head and be done with it, fine. But like the guys that are proud of like cutting their head off or popping their head, like no, that is disgusting and it is just pointlessly brutal.
I think it's disgusting as far as what it appears, but at the same time, you do have to take in consideration that is probably the most humane, quickest way you could possibly kill one.
Argue it with a deer.
What?
Shoot a deer in the head with a rifle. Why is that not okay?
Because it's a lot more margin for error.
How?
Very easily, because you have something that's about, 1, you're probably not going to be shooting at them at, say, 8 or 9 yards. 2, you're talking about still on a deer, you got to hit something that's probably 2 inches by maybe 2 inches. They can move their head left, right. I think that you would agree. With whopper choppers, there's not going to be
Warren's name for
you're not going to hit one and not kill him. If you hit him, he's going to die, or you're going to miss. It's going to be one of those two.
The chances are, yeah. But I'm also telling you
that
if you have the right rifle,
be the case.
if you're shooting the right caliber, if you hit him in the head, it's gonna probably kill him. Pretty dang good chance you're going to kill him.
Or
it's going to blow a huge, disgusting hole in him.
What if they move
and
their
instead
head down,
it's just for a
up?
turkey, it's non-existent.
What if they move their head
that's
up, down, left, right? It doesn't matter.
Maybe
and
just
I think
miss.
for me but that's probably not likely. I mean, you're talking about the chances of hitting a turkey, killing him quickly, or missing is much higher than making a perfect headshot on a deer. And you have a lot more factors that make it way easier to miss and wound them. That's what I don't think it's the same thing.
I think it's the wounding factor for me that there's a good chance of head shooting a deer, you could wound them. Where I agree with Warren on if you shoot a turkey, you're probably, although, I mean, we've done it a couple times where we shot them in the head and they didn't die.
But that's the whole reason I'm using a whopper chopper, because the broadheads we used were not designed for that. And I think that's the only reason that happened. And then I think, and for me, it's way more ethical than as we've talked about many times now, I've had a hard time making really good shots and quick, clean kills on turkeys. So I think if this is something that gives me the ability I don't really want to cut their heads off either, but if it gives me the ability to kill them quickly and cleanly and ethically, that's way better than having them running around with an arrow stuck in them or a hole through their breast or something else.
I mean, I see the point. I don't necessarily completely agree, but
I think, but his whole reasoning for
not to wound it
is not. He's tired of losing his turkey
because he can't make the shot on the body. But I'm sitting here. You look at the same thing with a person with a deer that can't make a shot on behind the shoulder either. You got a lot of places you can make a wound on a deer in the body anywhere, as opposed to the head. Yeah, you got if you hit low. there's a good chance of wounding the thing. Or if maybe you hit like the snout or something or the nose and you screw it up
Snoot.
royally. No, I'm talking about for a deer.
Oh,
Then maybe you might screw it up. But I don't think. The
that-
situation you're in, I think that if you can't make the shot on the body and you still can't make it, if you start wounding them in the head too, then you need to go to a shotgun and just hang the bow up for a turkey.
Well, that's why I'm using whopper choppers, because it shouldn't wound them in the head there.
Well, I
Should
hope
be no
I hope
way
it works
that
for
to
you.
you got to hit
wound
him.
them,
That's going to be the thing.
which I don't think I'm gonna have any problem.
I would
with
rather
that.
him not either hit it or don't.
That's what he's saying, is that
Yeah.
you got to hit
did-
their head, which I don't think. That's why I don't think I'll have any problem with shooting them in the head, because I don't have to think about where to aim on that. Just simply put it on their wattles and squeeze. Where I have to think about where to shoot 'em all other
I
time.
do think there's a pretty big difference too with shooting them in square on the head and shooting them like in the wattles, because it's pretty much their neck. Like you're shooting them in one spot. But then again, now you got me freaking thinking again, because now if you're shooting them in the bottom, like where their wattles are or the neck is, then you got just as much room for arrow to wound the thing as you do for a deer too. You better shoot them right in the square in the head.
No, I think you want to put it right in the wattles.
That doesn't make any, because if you shoot low now with that one, you're right in the body and you're going to screw it up, do something weird to it. But if you
You'd
shoot
have
it square
to-
in the head, you're either going to hit the head or you're going to miss.
Shoot him in the shiny spot.
I'm with that. I agree with that.
I was
You'd have to
right in
shoot
the
way
corner of
low.
the shiny spot
Same
this
thing with a
morning,
deer.
and then the other one was going straight away.
See, now you got to shoot him right in the head with them whopper choppers.
Mm-mm.
Dome him.
That's it. Why you put them right at the wattle? Cut the head off.
Oh, no, because what if you hit low?
It break their neck. You're gonna
It's
hit
not
them in
going to
the neck
break
still.
their neck.
You're talking about you'd have to miss low by a long ways.
You know where their wattles are? It's the bottom
Yeah.
of their neck.
Their neck still goes up to those wattles.
Yeah, I understand that, but you got a lot of body area in there.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't.
Look at
For-
the turkey.
For all those people
Where's our
that
picture of our turkey go?
for all those people that have said that they enjoy the fact that you guys argue, they're getting their money's worth today.
Look at all the area
Okay,
in
so
this.
no, let's say you miss low. How far low are we
I
talking?
think if he's broadside, I don't think you want to be aiming at no wattles.
You're aiming
wanna be-
right in the
I'm going
head.
right there.
Yeah, no, I'd be
No.
putting it right on his
Absolutely.
freaking, right behind his eyeball.
Yeah, why are you aiming
No,
that
I'm
low?
not doing that. I'm going
That's-
to go right here and I'm going to whack
You have
his
no
neck
reason
off.
for a whopper chopper then.
No, that's not
That doesn't
true.
make any sense.
Or if he's in the face, if I miss right here, right there, that's still his flipping neck. I promise you, that's killing him right
miss
away.
an inch higher, and now you're just clipping something and screwing them up.
You're not. No, I don't think so. It would
Or
be nothing
I'm
but
also
flesh.
just saying that we're not banking on missing by an inch or two with you. It's a lot.
I'm not gonna miss. I'll probably. I'm gonna. What are
It
you
is
talking
big
about?
misses if you miss it. If
That's
you
not
miss,
true. On turkeys, I don't ever miss. That I don't miss. I don't miss where I'm aiming. I have a hard time aiming at the correct spot.
I think if he's broadside like that, just whack him in the head. Be done with it.
I'm not shooting him up here because I've
Okay.
seen that happen.
That's the
already.
whopper chopper, man.
No, you watch. I'm gonna put it right in through his neck and we'll be good.
Well,
There was
the-
vitals on the other side.
The first thing you got,
We just discovered a new thing.
Yeah, there. See, you miss low and you're in great shape.
the first thing that
Yeah,
you
you're just putting a hole in a turkey is my point.
No, you're not. You're gonna hit him right in the flipping
if
neck.
you hit the neck. You
Or
get
your-
lucky.
or
That's like an
feathers.
inch. You got like an inch by an inch.
Okay, and so let's
It's
say you hit
tiny.
him there. What's that? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, but if you go any lower than that, you're going through his breast or something, making him not feel
Dude,
very
you'd
good.
have to be all the
Does
way-
not feel
you'd
good.
have to be all the way
Especially
over
with a whopper
here.
chopper. That's that big of a hole in his
That's
body.
a 5-inch miss.
the first thing you got
At
to
that
do
range.
is you got to get up and you got to go hunting. You guys,
Getting up was not the issue. You act like we just slept in.
we
were
did.
all up. Nick was completely dressed, walking up. Poor guy was walking up the stairs with his camera and everything, ready to roll. Like, just go back to bed, man.
Mm-hmm.
We were good to go. So the first thing is you got to get out there, and the second thing is you got to get one to come in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so until then, so hopefully we'll be back and ready to do another pod. I don't think we should try to drag this
No, I
out
don't
for any
think there's
reason.
any
I
reason
think
Get
we
her
just
going.
yeah. So opening day turkey season, that was raised hunting is 2 for 2.
Opening half day.
Opening
We
half
still have
day,
a day.
however you want to put it. But anyhow, we are 2 for 2, and these guys are 0 for 0. We won't even call it. They haven't even swung yet.
You better
So
be careful with saying you're 2 for 2. Superstitions, man.
How?
Well,
He's shot 2 turkeys.
No,
tagged 2
because look
turkeys.
at what he did last year. He cannot be sitting here keeping track like that.
oh yeah,
But you are 2 for 2. You had.
Oh, that's not the point. You ever the
Well,
whole thing of we just did an episode on a perfect game. Anytime you have a perfect game rolling, he might have gone 6 innings for 6 innings with every single one of a strikeout, but you dang sure do not say that out loud. Otherwise,
he's not saying
screwed.
anything about the future. He's just stating that this morning he went 2 for 2.
If it makes
You're not
you feel,
listening to superstition. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, you don't say it. You never say it. You
okay,
just,
if it makes anyone feel any better, the same underwear that I was wearing last year, I'm still wearing this year.
He hasn't washed them once.
Because it's turkey season again, and I don't want to ruin the streak. So the literal streak.
I'm sure there's many streaks on it.
We know that. I don't think it matters on which pair it is.
Oh, that's so gross. Okay, let's go hunt.
All right.
That's what I say.
All right, guys. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. We enjoyed putting it together. I really enjoyed it because it was my morning. It was
about him. That's why I liked it.
No, it was good. So I'll take it. Good Lord blessed me this morning big time. I wasn't expecting to have that happen like that. So anyhow, thank you guys again for the reviews. Thank you. Big shout out to Adrian, who works at Texas Roadhouse. Buddy, we ran into him yesterday when we were eating Easter brunch, I guess it was. Lunch.
Afternoon. It
okay,
is lunch.
so anyhow, big shout out to Adrian. He stopped us and said, hey, man, I love the podcast. And hopefully you heard today my special guest didn't give me as much grief. So anyhow, it's all good.
We just gave each other the grief.
So we'll catch you guys next time, and hopefully it'll be after these guys have filled some tags. Raised Hunting Podcast signing off.